Hi, it's Leslie Meredith with Breakbulk Events and Media. I'm here in Dubai at Breakbulk Middle East, and I have our moderator and very good friend, Lars Greiner, with us, who just finished up his panel on Africa. Very exciting. And welcome to you from Hamburg.
Thanks, Leslie. Great to see you and great to be here in Dubai with everyone. It was wonderful to be here and to be chatting about Africa, my passionate place.
I was going to say, I know you've now been in Hamburg a couple of years, but have spent so much time and have so much experience with Africa. You were just an absolute perfect choice to moderate this panel.
Thanks very much. I was lucky. I had such experienced and knowledgeable Africa guys with me. It was a pleasure to moderate. But I do miss the action of Africa, and fortunately now with my new role with Hamburg Port Consultants, I will be looking into Africa and the Middle East some more as well. So it'll give me an excuse to be back in Africa some.
Well, that is good news. So give us some of the highlights of your panel.
I think Athel's experience and knowledge come across very well. He's worked very hard at preparing for this project for a long time, and he really is Mr. Mozambique in terms of projects. So, to see him, what they've prepared for the project is great. Kota has come off a remote project, and he's new to Africa, but he knows what he wants and how he wants to do it, and I think he's gotten to the core of the issues very, very quickly, and he knows how he wants to run the project, and I think that bodes well for the project overall. And then, of course, in Marco, you've got an international organization that is very, very strong. They also put a large effort into getting into the project. I was privileged to do some work with them a couple of years ago and to see how they invest in a project. And so I think overall we had great guys that covered each different aspects of the project. The international side with Marco, the local side with Athol, and then Koto looking at how he's going to put the project all together. That bodes well for the project, and I'm personally very excited and happy to see it moving forward finally.
Right. Well, it has been a while, but it is just, the scope of this project is immense, and it seems that it will have a huge impact on the country.
They're talking about the Mozambique economy growing by 25% in the next 5 to 10 years. That is an enormous growth in the economy. But I think the key aspect here, and in Africa we say, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time, and that's very much how it's being approached. The project is moving ahead. It has a very tight time frame, but it is being approached one module at a time, and that is good.
Interesting. All right. Do you think we'll see similar projects in other countries in Africa?
I think East Africa, as I said during the panel, East Africa is definitely a growth area. The reports vary up to a point where they compare it to within 20 years to being a new UAE in terms of the developments in there. The potential for that is certainly there. You've got the Lake Albert oil and gas project with Total, which seems to have stalled a little bit at the moment, but has the potential to be another mega project with also close to 2 million freight tons of cargo to be moved. Lake Turkana and the Rift Valley oil is there and it's ready to move. I think there it comes down to the stability of the region. You've got southern Sudan, which is part of the Rift Valley oil, and southern Ethiopia, where it's all part of the same complex. There is oil and gas off Lamu in northern, which can also move ahead. So there's a lot of oil and gas projects in those areas. You've then got obviously the other side of the Ruvuma Basin in southern Tanzania, and that's just oil and gas. You then need the infrastructure to back it up, and particularly in Africa, you've got a lot of mining developments. There are several gold mines in Mozambique being looked at, and in Tanzania. So I think once we see the infrastructure starting to develop, you certainly will see a lot of development and more projects in that area. The main question for me is in terms of, are they able to cope with them, and what needs to be put in place to allow them to do that.
All right. Now, the last question I want to ask you is, here we're sitting in Dubai, and we're talking about Africa and projects and all different kinds of projects in Africa. Can you tell me what the connection is between these two regions?
I think specifically here we're looking at the oil and gas connection, but more and more you're seeing the Middle East being a center point to jump into Africa. The connections from here with the various airlines, Emirates, Etihad, into Africa are very good. In terms of having a single stable base where you can put your offices, the area is good. There is a traditional trading link going back into the 1100s between the Arab peoples and the East African peoples. In fact, you see East Africa being settled by Arabs long before the Europeans made their way around. So there is a natural progression in trading in the area, in the Indian Ocean, and I think you're getting back towards a more regional focus, which also follows the global trend right now, away from globalism more into regionalism.
Interesting. All right. Well, I want to thank you for sharing all that information with us. It's very enlightening.
Thank you very much. I'm excited to be looking at the project. I'm excited to be here. So thank you very much for everything.
Great.